Welcome back, guys, to another vlog.
Welcome back.
Got some bad news today, man. So we got told from Kai last night. Was it last night?
I think so, yeah. Or yesterday morning.
That I think it's Manila, Laguna, and another area.
Yeah, but I can't remember what one it was.
I think there's 3 areas, right, that are going back into another lockdown again, like in March time. That is a big blow.
So it's meant to
for
be
everybody.
15 days, and it was requested by the healthcare workers because the cases are going up. So they wanted to do another lockdown in hopes that it will slow it back down again. And it's meant to be 2 weeks, but that's what was said, obviously, in March. And
ended up being 80 days.
Yeah, so
that's like really bad news for everybody, right? Because the businesses have just started to open up again. People just started to get back into because a lot of Filipinos lost their jobs. Lots, like all over in every single profession, people was losing their jobs. And just as you start getting back into work, the same things happened here as well, by the way. Exactly the same things. So many people are losing their jobs here. And you just start getting back to some form of normality, and then it happens again.
And obviously, we know that everyone would prefer their health to be the priority. That's obviously a given. The only issue, obviously, is that it is going to make it very difficult for families again to manage, because although things were getting back to normal, and it was a very slow process, there still was no, what's the word, there was no buses from one area to another, and if you were from Manila, you weren't allowed to go to other places. And so yeah, it seems that as it's opened up again, the cases have got higher, so they've gone, no, we can't do this. So it just means that a lot more families are going to be in a lot of difficulty, and it's cost obviously a lot of money to keep people going. And we know people who unfortunately weren't entitled to any kind of help. They earned enough in their job, or they weren't in a deprived area, or they weren't whatever the criteria was, we're not 100% sure, but they weren't entitled to any help, which then left them in a situation where obviously they had no work because they worked in tourism industry, and they were stuck in their house, and they were relying on people to help them to get them through. And it's difficult. It really is a hard difficult situation. So we wanted to let you know we were thinking of you all, really, because
I mean, even in England, everyone is trying to fight exactly against what's happening in Manila right now. Nobody wants to go back into a second lockdown.
Some cities have
in the
country,
UK.
yeah.
So I guess it's the equivalent of what's happening in the Philippines, because they're just shutting down. I think it's
areas.
Laguna, Manila, and maybe one more.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Quezon or something. I'm not sure.
Can't remember.
But in the UK, they've shut down Manchester, Leicester,
York,
and
Leeds.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 cities in the UK that have done the same thing. They've shut down, and
you're not allowed in and out. You're not allowed, they've got restrictions within their own city. So if you're not living in the city, you're not allowed in or out of the city, because it's spiked in them areas again. So we know a few people who, I do anyway, know a few people who are in them areas, and
it's not good,
they're not allowed to go anywhere, especially if they work outside of the city, or they live outside of the city and their job is in the city. They're not allowed to do that commute anymore, which means that they no longer have an income. And getting help from the government is really difficult at the moment, because the waiting list is so long, because so many people need help. So it's just one of them situations where it's a big struggle for everyone, isn't it? And
it's just all that's going to be happening again. I think in Manila it was quite a harsh lockdown before, where I think majority of people wasn't allowed out. Only maybe one person to a household.
I think that's what it is now. You're not allowed out your house.
Yeah, so I know some of our friends in the Philippines, they've really struggled with having to stay in for that amount of time. They found it really difficult.
Mental health wise, they found it a struggle to be locked indoors
for
that
hard,
amount of
man.
time.
It's difficult, and obviously we was hoping that there might be some way we could come back over. That doesn't look like that's gonna be happening right about now. So yeah, it's just really bad news, guys. I'm actually When he told me, I thought no, because I thought it was getting better. I just assumed that because they come out of the lockdown, that things were getting much better.
But more people on the streets means more cross contamination.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it's inevitable that it's gonna go up. It's just a case of trying to live with it until obviously, like, people who want to have the vaccine have it, and making sure that everybody stays healthy, because again, we know that that's everybody's first priority, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it does bring other struggles, and physical health is obviously a priority, but being locked inside away from your family for that amount of time, it puts other struggles health wise in your path, like mental health wise, and people struggle with like being anxious about going out, and then that brings on a whole other aspect of health, because then you're struggling with anxiety. And so it's something that like I can definitely relate to, because I found that aspect of lockdown really difficult. But it's just a shame that we know the struggle that people are kind of going to be going through, and we know kind of what that means for everyone, especially the Philippines, and especially how everyone handled it over there the last time, and everyone pulled together and was amazing, and we got some really great help, didn't we, when we were over there?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like the Philippines has got a great community spirit anyway, and that's what I personally love about it so much. But lockdown generates a different aspect of community spirit that we've not experienced
Even
before.
Here.
Here mostly. So hopefully like that kind of remains, and everyone works together to get each other through it again, and make sure that everybody kind of sticks together and does whatever they can for each other, really, because that's the only way that I think people are kind of going to be able to manage with another second lockdown.
I was looking as well, and because obviously I didn't know about there being like another big rise of cases, so I had a look, and I think Sunday it said on the news that there was like 5,000 cases on Sunday, and then in the whole country, and then I think there was 3,200 on Monday, so they're quite high. And I think even here, I'm trying to think what England had. I think England had like 1,000 on maybe Sunday. So it is quite a big jump. But again, the more testing you're going to do, the more people are going to have it. It's just about how many tests you actually get done. The more testing, it's just inevitable, right?
The more testing, and obviously like the more people are interacting and stuff as well, like it's inevitable. But to be honest with you, I actually think it's more about the testing than the interaction, because I think people are actually being as safe as they possibly can be. Most people are wearing a mask, most people are staying well away from each other, most people are carrying hand sanitizer and washing their hands at every opportunity. I do think that actually like the prevention is actually working. I think that it looks like it might not be, because more tests are being done, and obviously if you've got 100 people in a room and you only test 3 of them, it's going to look like only 3 people in a room have got it, but actually
the whole room could have it.
Yeah. So the more tests you do, obviously it's inevitable that there's going to be more results. And I do think that the prevention is, I do feel like people are following the prevention. Like I know people are going to socialise and stuff, like for your mental health, like you kind of have to, but if everybody's like being cautious of their interaction, then it's kind of, I don't know.
It's just one of them things, guys, because there ain't a vaccine as well. It's always going to be lingering around. It's just inevitable. It's one of those things. I think every country's having it.
I think it's going to be one of them diseases, illnesses, whatever you want to call it, viruses that when we go travelling, we're always aware of. Yellow fever's about. Take your precautions and make sure you don't and
the
then
mosquitoes,
you've got dengue,
the malaria,
fever, and
stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you take precautions. You wear your spray. You carry your I've got my little EpiPen because I'm allergic. So you take precautions and do the best that you can in the circumstances, or you know that it's around and you can't tell where it is and what mosquito has it. But the chances are, if you take the precautions, you're going to be safe. And I think this is a similar kind of aspect. It's always going to be there. You just have to be cautious about it, and you have to make sure that you follow the rules to make sure that you're safe, I suppose.
I mean, what I want to really know, guys, I couldn't really find much info on it, but is because if you remember in the last lockdown, Manila started the lockdown and then all the other provinces followed suit. So is this just a Manila and surrounding area lockdown, or is the whole country following suit? That's what I couldn't quite find. So
last time everybody agreed to take lead from Manila, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then Duterte said that each, was it province or each mayor of the provinces were able to make the decision as to whether they wanted to continue following Manila or they wanted to implement their own rules. So is it stayed that way where the mayors can implement their own rules, or do they have to follow the lead? I think they'll probably do their own rules.
We'll probably find out in the next few days, but we'll be following it closely because there's not a lot of information on it because it's so new. I think it only come out
today. So Monday, it starts from today, Monday, the 3rd of August. This video will probably go up tomorrow on Tuesday. So we know that lockdown started yesterday when you watch this, for 14 or 15 days. Can't remember.
I hope it doesn't get extended, but I hope that it takes down some of the cases because I think it was just a case of the hospitals getting overwhelmed, which was happening here as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully the hospital cases go down so there's a bit more space, and then
I think as well though most of the cases that are being kind of, from what I heard in the Philippines, if you have symptoms or if you test positive, you go into a centre where you do like a what's it called? It's like a centre where you stay there for 14 days basically in quarantine. We have a mutual friend with someone whose family tested positive, six of them, who went into one of these centres, and they done activities for 14 days, but we weren't told what activities. We were not really sure what that was, but they got tested. They were positive when they went in, and 14 days later they were
exercise
negative.
in the morning, something like that. I think.
Right. So, yeah, 14 days later they tested negative anyway, so they came out. So I wonder if it was those that are getting overwhelmed, because it seems that
Maybe.
all of the cases that are out there at the moment, they're not the type of cases where they're very severe. I think they're kind of, people have got symptoms and people are kind of feeling a little bit unwell, but they're not very serious life-threatening cases. So I wonder if that is the case, then would it be the quarantine centres that are
Maybe.
overwhelmed rather than the hospitals?
Both, probably a little bit of both.
It's really hard for us to find information, obviously, because it's quite recent and
very new, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to let you guys know that we're thinking of you, and we hope that everything works out well and you're all safe and well and stuff. And we'll be following it closely and hoping for the best, and hope that it ends within the 14 days, hopefully, and no extensions.
Yeah.
Not like last time, at least, anyways. So yeah, hope you all stay safe and well, and hopefully we will see you again in the next vlog.
Take care.